There is a difference between a person who is dying and a person who is suicidal. I don't want to die, I am dying. When I look into both options I have to die, I feel this is far more humane. A quote by Brittany Maynard. Physician-assisted death should be declared legal by the Supreme Court rather than sustaining its position as a law of the state. First, I will discuss why terminally ill patients should be able to have the right to choose how they wish to die. Then, I will discuss the relief to choose a time and place to which someone who is terminally ill may carry out their own death with dignity, and there are certain laws to ensure that this is something that they want to do. Finally, I will discuss the physician's perspective on the matter at hand and the benefits of being able to help terminally ill patients' final wishes. If a human being is terminally ill with less than 6 months of life to live, they should have the right to decide how they choose to die. People shouldn't have to live their last months of life in deep emotional and physical pain, according to the article in Time magazine. Imagine that you or someone you love was told that they had less than 6 months to live, and chances were that the pain would reach a level that would cause sedation to the point of unconsciousness, while possibly losing all motor and brain functions until you finally withered away in a hospital bed. So would you consider dying while you were still able to speak to the ones you love and say your goodbyes, or hug them before you didn't have the strength to? That is the choice that Brittany Maynard made when she was diagnosed with a massive brain tumor with less than 6 months to live. She had the option of undergoing full brain radiation, which came with severe pain, emotional distress, the possibility of blindness, as well as the possibility of mental and physical impairments, only to live a few extra days or months. So she chose to end life with her family by her side. Individuals in favor of physician-assisted death believe that a human being deserves the right to choose to have a peaceful ending of life rather than spending their days having a poor quality of life, according to Hammershay. Gordon Friesen, who is opposed to PAD, was faced with severe post-traumatic disabilities and said that if he had not had such good doctors to guide me through the first critical weeks of intensive care, as the long years that followed, I would not be here to write these lines today. However, the man that wrote that made his choice. So why should someone with completely different circumstances, like Brittany Maynard, be told that they shouldn't have the right to a choice in how they live out their final days? Brittany finally spoke about how it was easier to bear the pain since she was finally in control of her own life. Those against physician-assisted death say that the problem is to differentiate between what is really done for the patient and what is done out of comfort for the family and the caring team, according to World Medical Journal. Brittany said that by making her decision, she was choosing to suffer less and to put herself and her family through less pain, according to her article in Time magazine. The relief that someone can endure from knowing that they can pass in the comfort of their own home with their family by their sides is a decision that most of us can agree is one that would be the most comfortable. Almost 95% of people in Oregon chose to pass at home when requesting physician-assisted death, according to Death with Dignity. If someone is terminally ill, the option to choose a place and time can be an invaluable peace of mind, which can be very important at the end of life. By adding the voluntary option to the continuum of end-of-life care, these laws give patients dignity and control during their final days with their loved ones. The patient's autonomy for decision-making has to be respected, which would allow assisted death to give patients means to an end, according to Hammershay. It takes specific measures and time for physician-assisted death to be carried out, if it is even legal in your state. Only 6 U.S. states allow PAS, whereas states such as Massachusetts, for example, charge first or second-degree murder. The states that do support this law require 2 waiting periods, post-oral and/or written requests, of roughly 15 to 20 days and 48 hours respectively, including extensive evaluations by more than one physician in order to carry out PAD. People believe that enforcing this law may lead to potential abuse of patients, especially those who are the most vulnerable, according to Miguel Roku. However, so many people get reassurance from simply filling the prescription that 1 in 3 choose not to use it, according to Death with Dignity. Participating in assisted dying is strictly voluntary for both the patients and the physicians. No one is obligated to use the laws. They merely provide an option for those who wish to use them. Finally, where do physicians stand on assisting those who wish to carry out physician-assisted death? Dr. Nicholas Guilledenese quotes, "The relief from my terminally ill patients and their families is palpable. I've helped families accept their family members' final wishes in the face of terrible illness. Aid in dying for terminal patients is an essential part of good, compassionate end-of-life care." According to Hammershaw, another concern is that the legalization of PAD will discourage the use of palliative care or hospice services. However, according to Modern Healthcare, statistics show that the interests and preferences for hospice care have actually risen in responses to the campaign for physician-assisted death. After the law was passed in Oregon in 2013, 1.5 million Americans received hospice care, compared to only 250,000 in 1994. Therefore, this law will also likely heighten the urgency of improving end-of-life care overall. Since clinicians are bound to save life and not take it, it follows that clinicians should not kill in principle. Therefore, assisted suicide is seen to be a morally illicit option by those who are not in favor of this law, according to Dee Pergola. A number of medical associations have endorsed PAS, including the American Public Health Association, the American College of Legal Medicine, the American Medical Women's Association, the American Medical Student Association, as well as the Denver Medical Society. As a result of the law being passed in certain states, Oregon and Washington doctors work harder to prolong their patients' lives and enhance quality of life, while respecting patients' final wishes when their suffering becomes intolerable, according to Modern Healthcare. According to Dr. Nicholas Guilledenese, for patients who have used this law, he was honored that he could be with them every step of the way, ensuring that they were well cared for and that they had control of the final days of their lives. That is what death with dignity really means. Some physicians are against this law. Dr. Dana Pankin, a family medicine specialist, said that the golden rule of medicine is first, do not do harm. Allowing death to occur with dignity, medical support is fine. Picking a time and causing it is not. However, many doctors are in favor of this law. According to Dr. Sarah Chentry, although the oath says do not harm, allowing prolonged suffering is doing more harm than not giving peace. In conclusion, physician-assisted death should be declared legal by the Supreme Court rather than sustaining its position as a law of the state. First, I discussed reasons why a patient who is terminally ill should have the right to choose how they wish to die. Then I discussed the relief of having the option to choose a time and place to which a terminally ill patient may carry out their own death and the laws that are in place to ensure that is something they truly wish to carry out. Finally, I discussed the physician's perspectives on the matters at hand and the overall benefits these laws have already brought to light. This law is currently allowed in the state of California and may only be brought to the Supreme Court through specific cases. Moving forward, it is our responsibility as Americans to have the ability to choose, vote, and be aware of our human rights. So when it comes time to vote, make sure that you choose the right as an American and vote. Thank you.